disturbing evidence of animal cruelty as we investigate the dog meat trade in the Philippines.
Most extraordinary way of dealing with animals. The jeep is absolutely full of dogs. The ones on top, obviously alive, but what goes on underneath, I hate to think.
Killing dogs for food was banned in the Philippines almost 10 years ago, but there's still a thriving black market. Sussex vet John Hawkridge has come to Manila as part of a long campaign to save the victims of the trade.
The eating of dog meat, per se, is, one could argue, the same as eating of beef, eating of lamb, eating of pork. The difference is the way in which the animals are treated, the way in which the animals are reared, and most particularly the way in which they are transported to, and the manner in which they are transported to slaughter, and the way in which they are slaughtered is far worse than anything that goes on in conventional farming. This is not normal farming, this is backstreet farming.
John's a trustee of the International Wildlife Coalition Trust, which has set up a sanctuary in Tarlac, north of Manila. It provides a home for the dogs that they rescue from the meat trade.
Hello, Suzanne. Lovely to see you.
Welcome, John.
You've been very busy since I was last here.
Oh yes, pretty busy.
Lots of new kennels and lots of new dogs as well.
200 dogs.
Amazing.
Most of the money has been raised in Britain, but the sanctuary is run by a separate Filipino charity, the Animal Kingdom Foundation.
We have the new quarantine.
Yes. And they're all looking so healthy and happy.
Yes, happy they're smiling.
Yes. Not even barking at me.
The centre has a fully equipped clinic, staffed with its own vets.
Dr. Roland.
Oh, hello.
Dr. Ellen, this is John Hawkridge.
Let me not interrupt you. You carry on. Glad to see you working. So this is one of the recent arrivals?
Yes, last batch. We got him last week.
The aim of the centre is to get the dogs fit and healthy so they can be rehomed, and they're hoping to place a lot of the dogs with Brits here in the Philippines. But Blake has been adopted by a local.
Please recommend our centre to other people so that they could adopt as well.
Okay. We will try to inform other friends, our friends. Yeah. Hi, Blake. Hi, Blake.
Bye.
Let's go.
Like most of the dogs, Blake was rescued on the way to the slaughterhouse. The dogs are often tied up with tin can muzzles to make them easier to transport. The charity has its own team of undercover investigators who work with the police. Tonight they've set up a checkpoint, but the traders thereafter have been arrested at another checkpoint a few miles away. They've been caught with a large number of dogs.
Oh, they got 100 dogs now. 100 dogs, John.
100 dogs.
So now it's going to be 300 dogs in the center. 100 dogs.
This gives you some idea of the scale of some of these operations.
But we don't know.
Anyone who says this trade has stopped is completely wrong.
The 100 dogs are trapped in a hidden container in this vehicle. They need to be released immediately, but unfortunately, there's a delay.
It's extremely frustrating. We've arrived here, the men have been arrested, we've got a GP full of dogs, but we can do nothing because the chief of police hasn't been informed and they can't allow us to unload the dogs from the vehicle until he's been informed. So now we're in this silly situation that the longer we wait, the more dogs are going to die.
It's a desperately frustrating hour before they're finally allowed in. It may not look like it, but these dogs are the lucky ones. If the vehicle hadn't been stopped, many would have suffocated on the way to the slaughterhouse.
There's solid sides and they've got no ventilation from that height downwards. The only ventilation is immediately at the back and a bit in the front. The Jeep is absolutely full of dogs. The ones on top, obviously alive, but what goes on underneath, I hate to think.
Ha?
They don't seem to be worried that half of them may well be killed in transit. It's the most extraordinary way of dealing with animals.
The rescue team want to get the dogs out as quickly as possible, but they have to be carefully handled and cut free.
Mostly, I think they're house pets because they're not as...
Yes, they're older,
Because they're
aren't they?
different from the ones that we
Yes.
rescued in the other operation. They're so ferocious.
Quite a few breeding bitches who've actually had puppies. You can see that they've had puppies.
They usually are being bought. There's a trike going out of, going house to house, asking dogs, dogs. And then these people, they sell their pets for money.
Normally, dogs cool down by panting, but these animals can't even open their mouths. After many hours trapped, the dogs are desperate to get out.
They're so frightened they're liable to either try and escape or to bite you or both. Come on, come on. Come on.
The dogs are clearly traumatised. Even when they are released, they don't make a sound.
Don't worry, don't worry. Poor little thing. See her pupils all dilated. She's absolutely petrified. Not surprising, is it? You'll be all right now. You're going to be all right. So far, everyone's alive, but there's got to be dead ones underneath the back there. You can hear the sort of muffled...
But the dogs are not ferocious.
Well,
No, they're not.
just petrified. I think you're going to need another trip. You're going to have to
That's
do...
what I'm thinking.
Never going to get them all in this one load. We haven't been counting them, have we? I don't think. Or have
They're
we?
counting it.
Oh, fine.
Ilan na? 29.
39. And we
29, 29, 30.
29. And we haven't got out of the back third yet.
Despite their best efforts, 4 of the dogs don't survive. But this is the charity's most successful ever rescue mission. By the end of a long night, they've saved 92 animals and rehoused them in the quarantine pen at the sanctuary. Next morning, we travelled north to the mountain city of Baguio to see if our raid had affected the trade. Even though it's illegal, dog meat is usually sold in this market, but today there is none available. The traders say there might be another delivery tomorrow. But one of the restaurants still has plenty of dogs in the kitchen.
The Filipino people are not cruel to their animals at all. This trade is a completely separate issue. It's treating dogs as a farmed animal, but in an inhumane way.
Although the rescue mission had a fleeting impact on the trade in this one town, it's believed that law or no law, as many as 2,000 dogs a week are still being killed for the table. The charity's had a tip-off that dogs are in danger at a small backstreet restaurant. But when John arrives, there's already freshly cooked dog meat on sale. The owner and the butcher are taken into custody. But the police also discover a tightly packed sack. They've managed to rescue one of the dogs.
And the other one was recently cooked?
That's the cooked meat, is it?
Yes.
Over there.
There can only be one name for this little chap. Lucky.
He doesn't know what's happening.
It's all very strange, isn't it?
Back at the sanctuary, the rescued dogs are starting to recover. they're still strangely silent, but staff are confident that with care, they'll soon get their bark back.
I intend to do as much as is necessary, both for the sake of the dogs, but also for the sake of the Filipino people themselves. As time's gone on, they've agreed more and more with us, and it's been quite obvious that they are as proud as we are that the trade has been stopped, and also they're as proud as we are that they've got a centre which looks after and cares for the dogs humanely.
At kilalanin ang best friend ng mga aso.
Pinababayaan kung hindi man itinataboy ang mga asong kalye o mga tinatawag na askal. Pag minamalas-malas pa, ang labas ay pulutan pa. Pero ang astig na si Suzanne Llanera inilaan ang buhay sa pag-aalaga sa mga asong ito. Tinatayang halos 8,000 aso ang binibenta at kinakatay buwan-buwan. Ito ang ginawang misyon ni Suzanne Llanera, ang magligtas ng asong kalye. Itinatag niya ang Animal Kingdom Foundation noong year 2000. Sila ang nag-aalaga ng mga asong nakukumpiska mula sa mga dog trader.
Maaawa ka talaga. As in, maaawa ka kasi nakikita mo yung inaano sa ulo. Tapos pag ni-rescue namin sila, siguro mga 30% patay.
Nakapagpatayo siya ng isang malaking dog compound sa Capas, Tarlac sa tulong ng International Wildlife Coalition Trust ng United Kingdom. Parang taong inaaruga dito ang mga asong kalyeng kakarnihin na sana.
Pag na-rescue na namin, nilalagay namin sa quarantine. Tapos, for 2 days yon, vina-vaccinate na. Nilalagyan ng mga dog tags, sinashampoo, nilalagyan ng pangalan, nire-record.
At kapag maayos na ang mga itsura at kalusugan, ipinaampun sila para lalong maalagaan. Walang balak tumigil si Suzanne hanggat may asong pinagmamalupitan at dapat alagaan.
Ang dami pang aso na kailangan i-save. Importante na maging mabait sa animals. Not only dogs, sa cats, sa mga animals. Kasi wala silang voice. Tayo lang ang voice.
Kung binansagan man na man's best friend ang mga aso, si Suzanne naman ang pinakamatalik na kaibigan ng mga aso.
At nagdaan na naman po ang isang araw ng pagbabalita.
Isang araw po na bahagi na ng kasaysayan.
Sa ngalan ng bayan, sa ilalim ng nag-iisa nating bandila.
Jessica Soho, ngayong gabi, sila raw ang ating best friend pero tayo pa rin ang kanilang worst enemy, ang pangingidnap at pag-rescue sa mga aso. Mabait sila sa atin, binabantayan nila tayo't inaaliw. Nakalulungkot lang na hanggang ngayon, marami sa atin ang tingin sa kanila, pulutan. Kung tayo rin ang kanilang worst enemy, sino na lang ang kanilang best friend?
At sa mga aso na hindi kayang hawakan at hindi kayang patakunahan at hindi na kayang kontrolin na mayari ay paparilin.
Para silang mga salot na pinupuksa. Ang mga paggalagalang askal o asong kalye ng Marinduque, walang awang binabaril. Pinapatay dahil sa pangambang may taglay silang rabies. Buha naman ito ng aktwal na pagkatay ng aso. Sa halip na pukpukin, binibigti at sinasaksak ang aso. Pagkatapos, sinusunog para matanggal ang balahibo. Ang kanilang tadhana, ulam o pulutan. Karaniwang nangyayari